Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Science is now teaching us that all life is interconnected and interdependent. And spirituality and ancient wisdom has been teaching the truth of oneness for eons. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing to another aspect of yourself. And when mankind awakens to the universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's show topic is support from Helping Parents Heal. Now, I had the honor and privilege of attending the first Helping Parents Heal conference a few weeks ago in Phoenix, and it was amazing. And all these wonderful guests we have on the screen I got to meet in person. So I will say their names quickly, and then we'll go through each one. First, we have Elizabeth Boissant, Irene Vuvalidis, Tracy Susie, Jason Durham, Christine Silver, Brian and Ty Smith, and Dawn Richards. That's who we have here today, and they're all wonderful, wonderful leaders in this amazing organization, Helping Parents Heal. Elizabeth, why don't we start with you? You are one of the co-founders. Please give a little history of Helping Parents Heal.
Thank you, Caroline. I love being here with you, and your show is always so uplifting, and it was wonderful to have you at the conference. And I want to first start out by saying that conference wouldn't have been possible without Irene, who is our conference chair, and Jason Durham, who is the person who handled all of the technological aspects of the conference. And I feel so grateful to both of them. We also had so much help from all of our affiliate leaders, as well as lots of other incredible volunteers. And at the conference, we were able to add many more affiliate leaders that are going to be coming online. These are just a small portion of the affiliate leaders that exist already. But let me just quick say that Helping Parents Heal is different from other bereavement groups. People call this a bereavement group because we are parents who have a child who's transitioned, but we believe in a connection with our children. We believe that connecting with them is possible, that healing is possible, and that we can move forward and experience joy again. And it's very important. This is a part of our mission statement, and it's a part of the journey that all of us are traveling as parents. And everyone who's involved in Helping Parents Heal, they're completely on a volunteer basis, and they are all Shining Light parents as well. Shining Light as opposed to bereaved, which is something that came about thanks to you not ever wanting to use the word bereaved. And anyway, I truly appreciate you inviting all of us here today. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you so much. And then I started this show, I launched this show 3 years ago, almost to the day. And one of my first guests was Anne Pierre, who wrote the book Stephen Lives, which is a book that she actually channeled from her son on the other side, Stephen. Stephen let her know after she was, able to hear him, and it took a while to hear him because she was in such grief. But I when she first told me, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, Elizabeth, but when she first told me about Helping Parents Heal, I was interested, but not too interested because of that word bereave, because I've never, ever looked at myself as a bereaved parent. And I told you that in the very first conversation. So when she told me, I was like, okay, nice. Yeah, don't know if it's for me because of that. So, but it is. It's totally, it's totally.
No, I just want to mention that we voted as a board just recently. We're changing that tagline from a safe place for bereaved parents and their families to sharing the journey from bereaved to Shining Light Parent. And that's going to be our tagline from now on. And I believe that that's much more representative of who we are.
Okay, now I'm glad I had an idea on that. Now I'm sharing it with you guys now, and you guys can talk about it with the board. Now my idea was take the old tagline and put like a line through bereaved and have Shining Light Parents. So still have the bereaved with a line through it. And so what was it before? It was, and I should have a postcard. It was
a safe place for bereaved parents and their families. I think that's a beautiful idea to just cross out bereaved and put Shining Light
Parents. I guess after that. That's an idea. Now, I thought about that, and but it's an idea because they can see, because people, when they see Shining Light Parents, are going to say, what the heck is that? But if you have bereaved and it's crossed out, then they can understand, and it'll kind of make sense to them. So that's an idea. Just throwing that out.
Good idea. Good idea. Thanks, Caroline.
Okay. Now, Irene, like Elizabeth said, the first conference was so amazing. And a lot of that fell on your shoulders. Can you please share?
Sure. It was my vision after attending a couple of afterlife conferences that I spent most of my time with other parents who had children on the other side. So I thought, well, why not? Why not have an entire conference with just us? How incredible would that be? And I approached Elizabeth and the board about it, and they were a little wary of it. Elizabeth said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I thought, well, how hard could it be? And it was a great process, and we had so much help. And if it wasn't for Jason, Elizabeth and I could never have done what was done for the conference. But everything worked out perfectly. It really did. And even in the planning process, I mean, I truly believe that our children were with us every step of the way, as proven by all the amazing stories from the conference, and also.
That's okay.
Linus, yeah, he's putting his 2 cents in.
Yes, he wants to put in his 2 cents, yes.
And, just all the great stories that the parents are telling us, and just the synchronicities. So we're busy working now on the next one for 2020. And maybe we can do it annually. After doing the first one, we really needed some time. And plus, speakers have their calendars a full year out. So Charleston 2020, here we come.
Awesome. And another thing I'm gonna throw at the board, how about Poconos 21? Or 22. I'll take 21, 22. But I really think the Poconos is a great central location for the Northeast. And I understand we got started in Arizona, but the Northeast is such a huge populated, and the Poconos is so central in the whole Northeast quarter of the country.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're probably thinking about West Coast, maybe California for the next one, and then we'll see.
I said I'll take 21. I mean, like 22. I'll take 22. Okay. Okay. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. Throwing it out there. See what sticks. You throw it to the wall, see what sticks. Okay. Yes, you did. Oh, you really, all of you, everyone here, everyone on the call. It was such an amazing conference. I mean, I never wanted it to end. I never wanted to come home. Just that it was so wonderful. And it was so wonderful meeting all of you in person. Okay, Tracy, now I know you and Elizabeth Irene, you and Elizabeth did share your story before. So I want to go to Tracy next. And Tracy, if you can come in and introduce yourself to our listeners and share a little bit of your journey with your child that's on the other side.
Sure. I'm Tracy, and I am one of the 4 affiliate leaders of the online group. We're a Facebook Helping Parents Heal online group. And my son, Eamon, transitioned when he was 29 years old in his sleep from neurological sleep apnea. And I started my spiritual journey, which led me to Suzanne Giesman. And I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed that Eamon would come through. I went to a seminar with Suzanne. She unexpectedly brought me up to the front of the class, brought Eamon through, gave me evidence that Eamon was still right here with us. And in the message, Eamon told her that the reason for this purpose was he was there to try and help me because I was having such a hard time. And he said to Suzanne that he wanted me to lead a parents group to help other parents. And of course, I said this was at only about 5 months. And of course, I said, there's no way, I could never do that. I can't even help myself. And Suzanne said, not right now, but when you're ready, because if I could get through the depths of my grief, I could help other parents. And indeed, that's what I'm doing now, is trying to help as many parents as I can. I can't get over the grief, but I can learn to live with it. And I would like to define Eamon by his life, not by his transition. And I think everybody can do that. So I'm honoring Eamon's memory by trying to help other parents.
Oh, that is so amazing, because I identify with you so much, and I always find something, because my son Kyle was 29 as well when he transitioned, and it was also Suzanne Giesman who kind of, like I said, it was first Anne Pierre who mentioned Helping Parents Heal to me 3 years ago, but it was also Suzanne Giesman who, because of her she's so active with the group, that got me looking back at Helping Parents Heal. So there was that, and she's the one that gave me my reading with Kyle. So
I heard your reading, and mine started with Dr. Mark Pitstick at 3 months, and I read his book Soul Proof, which changed my entire view, which led me to it. He told me about Helping Parents Heal. He's one of the board members. And then which led me to Suzanne Giesman when I was researching him. So, of course, I believe it was meant to be. It was this whole journey that led me there. And I always tell Suzanne Giesman that she's my angel. She saved me, and she truly did. She's very humble and said it, it's spirit, but Suzanne saved me.
Well, we share the same angel.
I think most of us here do.
Yes, she's amazing. She's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. And yes, Amos and Kyle are together. They're the same age. They're together right now.
I'm sure they're loving us all being together. All our children are.
Yes, they are. They're always with us. Well, Kyle has already said he's the co-host of this show. He's very proud of what I'm doing. And I launched this show 6 months after Kyle's transition, and it was something in the middle of the night. Spirit said, get up and do it. And I was just obedient, but thank you so much.
Well, thank you for what you do too. Thank you,
Tracy. Thank you so much. Now, Jason, I got to meet you, and you're a tech person. Like, I can identify with you.
That's what I'm told.
Yes.
I think it's a default position. Yes. I'm the default tech guy.
Yes, and also because of your wonderful expertise in technology, the conference went off without a hitch.
Well, I was not alone in that. There was a gentleman named Tony, and he truly was the captain of that ship. If you saw a very large gentleman with white hair and a white goatee, and he was running there. He always wanted to be behind the scenes, didn't want to be have anybody really know that he did anything. He did a lot. He was really on point. I was helping him, and he was a blessing. I mean, just to get a chance, I talked to him on the phone, about the conference and all the different technical specs, and then finally meeting him. And that's one of the things, I don't know, Caroline, if you found with the conference that I loved, was getting a chance to actually people that I either talked on the phone or saw on Zoom to meet them. And I didn't realize Elizabeth was that tall. I surely didn't realize that Brian was that tall, it was interesting for me, you know, and living in Louisiana, sometimes we have perceptions that are a little skewed and a little off about that type of thing. But it was an honor. I mean, I really feel fortunate that Elizabeth and Irene kind of took me under their wings and said, "Come on," you know, and I really feel fortunate that I've always been a servant of some sort. I've worked with the developmental disability community for nearly 20 years, trying to help my daughter and other individuals in the States with disability-related issues. So I've had a heart for service and a heart for giving. Yes. And to be able to do that with Helping Parents Heal, I'm the one who truly feels honored that I have I was chosen by Spirit and accepted by Elizabeth on a really strange email that barely got through the email server. I'm very thankful.
Oh, I understand exactly how you feel. It is an honor to serve, because I feel the same way. And I've been in, what's his name? Tony? Yeah, I've been in Tony's shoes for many years when I was doing all the multimedia for churches in this area. It's a large church in this area, and I was and I wanted to be in the background. I was running around, like a chicken with my head going off, putting out fires here. So I know exactly, but it is, like you said, it is such an honor to serve. It really is. Thank you. Now, please, Jason, please share your story with your child. That sounds
well. My story is I think all of our stories are a little unique. I'll condense it down to the elevator speech. I was raised in a very conservative area of Louisiana. Most of Louisiana is conservative by nature, and what I experienced was outside the realm of the comfort zone within those confines of conservatism. My daughter Bailey she had a rare neurological disorder called pontocerebellar hypoplasia type 2. She had 5 different types of seizures. One ultimately that called her home. Mm-hmm. And I was a single dad at that time, and she and I were blazing a storm with developmental disability community and getting some rights established. And October 1st, 2014 at 10:45 a.m., she stepped through the door and she went from life to life. And very fortunate that I got to be her dad. You know, she taught me so much. I think all our kids really teach us more than we realize. If we look back at where we've come from, you see the path that was not really of our own doing, right, but of our kids. And so, you know, Bailey, a couple of years, I had married after Bailey passed, and one night, knocking around two years, it was August of 2017, the beginning of August of 2017. I've been questioning a lot of things about what I believed. I was like, okay, Bailey, I hear all this stuff about you're still here and all that kind of, whatever. Okay, if you're here, prove it. If you're here, prove it. Well, I did it enough, and I didn't really realize what had happened in hindsight. At 1:30, in the middle of the night, it's like one of those movie moments where you sit up in bed, you see the person sit up in bed. Would you stop looking for me? I'm right here. As audibly, I look at my wife, she's asleep. The cat's not moving, pitch dark. And I'm sitting up in bed, and I'm like looking around. I can't see anything because it's really dark anyway. So I lay back to sleep. Next morning, my wife and I are having coffee, and I tell her, and she goes, And my wife is an empath. She's very spiritual. And so the next night, these glasses were on my bedside table, and I hear a noise, and it's my glasses hit the floor. My wife is still in slumber. You knocked off your glasses. Pick them up before you step on them. It's like, how do you knock off my glasses? 3:30 in the morning. I look at my phone. It's 3:30 in the morning. So I bend over to feel around for the glasses. They're not there. So I get my flashlight on my phone, and I'm looking, and I can't find my glasses. And being the guy that I am, as most guys are, I measured the next morning that 6 feet down and 1 foot under our king-size bed, that's where my glasses were. Wow. Now, my bedside table is right here, right next to my bed. So that next morning, you know, I didn't really think too much. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But it was at 3:30 in the morning, so I'm having coffee with my wife the next morning. And she goes, what was up with your you knocked your glasses off. Did you get them? I said, yeah. Well, yeah, I got them on, you know, my face. I said, it was the weirdest thing where they were. She goes, well, where were they? I said, at the foot, a foot under the foot of our bed. She goes, what time did this happen? I said, interestingly enough, it was at 3:30 for some reason. She goes, what? I was like, yeah, 3:30. She goes, okay, I got a confession. I said, what? She goes, well, I said, okay, Bailey, if it's really you, do something for your dad at 3:30 in the morning.
Wow. And
she did. She did. And then I started having these really cool dreams. I started having these really cool things happen. And then I contacted Elizabeth. I said, Elizabeth, there's something going on and I don't really understand it. I need to talk to somebody. So she said, there's a gentleman named Ernie Jackson. He is on our board. Let me let you talk to him. And I talked to Ernie and he goes, oh, brother. That seems to be his favorite thing to say. And he was loving and encouraging me. He goes, listen, we have an online, on the Facebook online group for Helping Parents Heal, there's a man named Dr. Mark Pitstick who's going to do a facilitated after-death communication. I really want you to do it. I think you should do it. And I did it, and I met my daughter again. Wow. And it was the most beautiful. I'm still getting chills about it. And that's where everything started exploding and this unfoldment of spirituality in my life. And I couldn't shut her up. She was nonverbal when she was here. She was developmentally. She was a 6-month-old, still in diapers, feeding tubes, oxygen, all of that. And now all of a sudden I have this amazing relationship that had so much physicality to it, but it was very spiritual. So ever since then, it's just been a roller coaster, you know, and it's been an amazing, amazing journey.
Oh my God. It gives, it gives me just chills just thinking about it because it is so true. I mean, it's hard to explain to parents that haven't experienced this, but we've all here experienced a relationship, a physical one too, with our children that are in spirit. And that is so amazing. It's so amazing. Thank you, Jason, for sharing that. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'd like to bring in Christine Silva. Christine and I we were buddies that Sunday. We were like stuck together like glue. We had a great time sitting by the pool and chatting, and then we went to the party and we were chatting up a storm. Christine, please share with our listener who you are and your journey and how you also got involved with Helping Parents Heal.
Hi, everybody. And thank you, Caroline. It was so nice to meet you. We did have such a good time. And I'm looking forward to spending more time with you. And the conference was amazing. Everyone did such a great job. And my experience was incredible, just meeting so many different parents and connecting with people and hearing the speakers. I'm still kind of floating from it all. But my journey actually began when my son crossed over in January of 2014. And he was away at college and he was in a car accident. We got the knock on the door in the middle of the night. And we ended up, he was at Chico State, which was like 7 hours away from us. So we had gone up there to take care of business, and we were packing up his room. And we found a letter in his desk that he had written to me and never mailed. It was sealed envelope, and I opened it, or actually my nieces found it and opened it and brought it to me. And in the letter, he expressed his thanks and for everything my husband and I had done for him, his education, his love for us, and it was like a miracle for my heart just to get this message. I call it my letter from heaven. And I knew at that point that he wasn't gone and that he wanted to continue communicating with me. But I didn't really know anything about afterlife communication. And but that became my mission. I just wanted to learn everything I could about how I could connect with him and, you know, just learn to have a continuing relationship with him. So I attended the Afterlife conference. I was about 5 months into my journey, and I met a lot of people there from Helping Parents Heal, and I learned so much about communicating with my son. I learned how to use a pendulum, and my son was always really good about giving me signs and messages, and it just brought me so much comfort. But it took me a while to be ready to lead a group. And so I guess it was after the experience of several of my neighbors also lost their sons, transitioned. These were friends of my son's. And it was after that experience in 2 separate incidents where I just felt like I needed to reach out to other parents and share my experience and let them know what I had been learning. So last summer, I started the Ventura County group. And so we've been going about 10 months now, and it's been a great experience for me. And I think it's been healing for me. I feel my son is still very involved in my life and is my guide. He brings me speakers and ideas about what to do at the meetings, and helps, I think, gather people to come to the meetings. And I'm just so thankful that he's still involved in my life and that I still have a relationship with him. So, and I'm very thankful for this group because it's really helped me a lot, and I just want to be able to help other people too.
Yes, so true. That is so true. Like I said, I am so glad that I've gotten involved with helping parents here. And I'm so glad that I'm in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. And I've gotten, since I've been affiliate leader, I haven't had a meeting yet, but I plan to have a meeting this summer. And I think I'm going to have quite a few parents from Philadelphia area, which is 2 miles away, which is great. So I'm so excited to meet more parents and just share this message. And like I said, I think I mentioned this before we started taping. The thing I love about Helping Parents Heal, it is not just helping parents. It's helping people that have anyone on the other side that they're really struggling to move on with their life because either their husband or their mom or their dad or their best friend, is on the other side. And so what Helping Parents Heal translates not just to parents, but to anyone with a loved one on the other side, to let them know that loved one's not gone. Love never dies. It never goes away. It's always right there with you.
That's such an important message. Yes.
Thank you so much, Christine. Yes, you and I, we're going to get together and have some fun together.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Brian and Ty Smith. So I think I want to bring Brian, if you can come in, or do you both want to come in together as a couple, or do you want to come in one at a time? It's up to you. Let's start with Brian. Okay.
All right. Sounds fine.
The Macho Man. I just thought of that song. Macho Man. Okay. Brian, it was wonderful meeting you at the conference. Please,
yeah, it was great meeting you too.
Please share your journey and how you got involved with Helping Parents.
Oh, it's hard to know where to begin. I mean, we could go all day, I think, with all the synchronicities that we had in terms of getting involved with Helping Parents Heal. But Suzanne Giesman is a component of it. We met Tracy and Beth West at a conference that Suzanne Giesman put on a little bit over a year ago. Before that, someone had told me after Shana had passed, my daughter Shana was 15 when she passed away suddenly in 2015 in her sleep in her bedroom upstairs. Someone told me to reach out to Mark Ireland, and I had never heard of Mark, so I sent Mark an email. We started corresponding back and forth. Mark sent me the books that he had written and really helped me out a lot. My wife Ty had planned a trip to Phoenix, which we'd never been to Phoenix before, and had a vacation plan there. Turned out that was really close to where Elizabeth Bassan is, who is the other co-founder of Helping Parents Heal. So we met Elizabeth for lunch, and we had a really great meeting with her. Ernie Jackson and his wife came, and we decided to become affiliate leaders. So we started the group here in Cincinnati in May of 2016, I think it was, May of 2016. So we ran that group for a while, and then that's when we met Tracy and Beth, was after that, at a conference with Suzanne Giesman and Mark Pitstick, who's also on the board of Helping Parents Heal. So we kept running into more and more people from Helping Parents Heal. And then Tracy got the idea to do an online group, and that's why. So we're doing the online group now, which we started in May of last year, and we're up to about 3,000 people at this point. So we also, another connection, Tracy and Beth, a bunch of us went to the AREI conference in Arizona last year at the exact same hotel that the Helping Parents Hill conference was at. And that was just an amazing experience. So the synchronicities just keep continuing to roll and roll. So we feel like that Shane is definitely guiding us on this path, and really interested to see where it goes.
Yes, I totally agree. It's a it is our children. Our children are with us every step of the way, guiding us to meet other parents and taking us exactly where we're meant to be. But tell us a little bit more about your daughter.
Shayna, as I said, she was 15 when she passed. She was obviously the light of our lives. She played basketball from the time she was like in kindergarten until like 8th grade. Then she decided to switch to volleyball. And first year she ever played volleyball, we said, you're probably not going to do that well. But she went out, made the high school team, made the national team, went to Florida for the nationals. That was the last week before she had passed away. She was a great student. She was a leader among her peers. All the kids looked up to her. So she's continued to make an impact. One of her best friends, after Shayna passed, decided to start a scholarship fund in her honor. That's been going. This was the 3rd year now. We've given away $1,000 scholarship to a senior at her high school. We do a walk in her name every year, and all of her friends come out and they all wear Shayna T-shirts, and we had 60 people participate on the team this year. So she was a force. When I remember the day she was born, the nurses in the hospital said, "You've got your hands full with this one." Just the way she cried, you could tell. And I remember when she was 2 years old, I looked at her and I said, I hope she uses her power for good and not for evil, because this kid is a force.
Oh, wow.
So, when she passed, it was sudden. It was totally unexpected. She was completely healthy. And, obviously at the time I thought, well, this is the end. This is the end of our relationship. But she's still going strong and never ceases to amaze me.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Ty, come on in and share your experience.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing that I've realized since Shayna, I like to say Shayna graduated early. This would have been her senior year, graduation year. But I like to say she graduated early. But the biggest thing that it's opened my eyes to is why am I really here? Because I was just I was born and raised Catholic and just never really looked into the afterlife or anything. And, it just wasn't really something of interest to me, honestly, even though I lost grandparents and things, but it just wasn't something that I had ever really thought about. And then to have Shayna, it was as if she just vanished. It just opened my eyes to this can't be it. There has to be more. So it's really forced me to look at why am I here? And I've discovered that, one of my whys is helping with the Helping Parents Heal. I've realized helping others is also helping me in turn. And so I'm really feeling empowered to do that. And then the other is keeping Shayna's memory alive. I love coming up with ways to do that. As Brian mentioned, the walk, the scholarship. And I just recently got the okay from the high school principal to create a remembrance garden on the grounds of the high school. And it's not going to be just, of course, for Shayna, but I want to include all the parents that have lost children from that school so that, they will know that their kids are not forgotten, because I think that's one of the biggest things that goes through my mind as we move through this journey is I don't want people to forget her. And so having a group where we can, talk about our kids and keep their memories alive, that's really been very helpful to me. So I encourage people to find their whys, because there is a reason that we're here. And I love the fact that I think all of our kids are bringing so many ideas and things into our mind. It's helping us spread the word that love's really what it's all about.
Wow. That is so beautiful. And I love all the things you're doing. The walk and the garden idea. That's such a great idea. That's so beautiful. One of the things, Your Soul's Plan is the book I was actually reading when Kyle's last month in this realm, I was reading Your Soul's Plan, and when he transitioned, one of the things that brought me peace was I knew it was a soul agreement. I knew before my birth, he and I had made this soul agreement. He had chose me to be his mom, and this was a soul agreement that we were living out our agreement. Yeah, we agreed to do this when we were in spirit. Remember, Mom? And so, like you said, it's helping us to find our why. We all came here for a reason, and that was part of our soul's plan. And it's just, and when we know that they're not gone. Yeah, they're not physically here. I can't fuss at Kyle to take out the garbage and clean up his room anymore. But he's still right. Like you said, I know he's the co-host of the show. He's right here. So, and all of our kids. Yes,
it's interesting that you say that you think it's soul plan, because I do believe in that now too, and that's something I never thought about either. But we have another daughter, Kayla, who's 21 now, and Kayla and Shayna told us many years ago that they remembered picking us when they were in heaven.
Wow.
And so that kind of comes back to me a lot, that they picked us, we chose this plan. So this is we have to walk through this journey together.
Yes, it's so true. And it does, to me, it brings a lot of peace, and it brings peace and joy. Because I know, and because when he's in spirit, he's actually closer to me because he's with me all the time. When he was in the physical, he's 29 years old, living his life. Half the time I didn't know where he was, so he's actually closer to me now. But it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Brian and Ty. Thank you so much. And now, last but not least, Dawn Richards. We got the chat at the party. Yeah, we were drinking. What was I drinking? I think I was drinking.
We were having margaritas.
Yeah, mango margaritas, weren't they? Mango, yeah. Yes. Dawn, please come and share your journey and how you discovered helping parents heal.
Well, my son transitioned about 1.5 years ago, a motorcycle accident. And this was my first experience with loss. I had lost grandparents, but they were all, so close to their 100th birthday. They had been non-compos mentis for years. And, my parents are still here. I had never experienced loss before. And prior to that, I used to just say to my friends and my husband all the time, I would say, how is it that I am so fortunate, to be born where I was? I could be a woman born in Afghanistan or in, Uganda. I could be a refugee somewhere. How is it that I've been so fortunate, and what can I do to give back? I've always been involved in teaching, helping people that way, but I just felt like I should be doing more. And I thought about this on a daily basis. And then here was my first loss. And my son and I were very close. He was an only child, and I was a single parent for several years with him, and we were very close. And he was in a coma for a month, and the first responder, one of them wanted to see him in the trauma unit. He never regained consciousness, but he said that they had actually called out the death squad because they thought he was gone. And then one of them noticed just the slightest spark of life, and they reversed direction and went to the trauma unit. And he never regained consciousness, but after the first week he was doing so well, the trauma unit was ready to kick us out. They said, you need to go find a rehabilitation place for him. And so our hope was so high, and then almost overnight, things just crashed. So almost to the very day, 1 month later, we were presented with the option of letting him go. And we donated his organs. And to me, my life was just over. I honestly was existing only to wait until it was my turn to go. And I felt like I was just wasting time here on earth to get one day closer to my death. And then I had just heard about Helping Parents Heal. I had gone to a couple of support groups, and they were so horribly depressing. I just would leave feeling so much worse. And then two of the moms from there told me about the Helping Parents Heal. So I had gone to two of those meetings. And then one day I came home from a walk on the beach, which was my therapy. And there was a package on my doorstep from a friend of mine, and our sons had grown up together in Honolulu. They were only 3 months apart. And at her Unity Church, Suzanne Giesman had come and given a talk. And my friend bought her video, Messages of Hope, and also had her sign the book, Messages of Hope. And it was just sitting there on my doorstep. And I read it, and it was my first spear of hope that he could still be here with me. That was it was so eye-opening for me. I knew nothing about this before. That was the difference to me. That was the turning point. Then Suzanne mentioned in her book, Helping Parents Heal, she recommended them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just started going to their meetings. And then I happened to meet a person who was a Reiki practitioner, and I had no idea she was a medium. I thought I was coming for a Reiki session. And she said, I've been waiting for you to call me. Your son has been talking to me. He said he would have picked no other mom but you. And he knew it was his time to go at the scene of the accident, but he knew how upset he would be. And so he stayed as long as he could. And she told me he was happy. And this was such a turnaround for me, but it really all started with Suzanne. And then I went to my third Helping Parents Heal meeting to find out the chapter leader was retiring. And so the group said, would you consider being the leader? So I said, okay. I'm not sure why they asked, because so many of them are 5 and 7 and 10 years out. They're much farther along on their journey than I am. But I said yes, because I kind of felt like it's what I meant to do, that this is part of my mission, and it helps me. Helping them helps me. And so now I feel like this was all part of a plan. This was in the plan. My son was part of this plan. And now my plan is to discover my true purpose and spend the rest of my life doing that. And some of the things said at the conference, one of the things I heard was that the more evolved I am, the more it helps my son evolve too, where he is. So I feel like we're evolving together, and Helping Parents Heal is that bridge for me. I can't explain how phenomenal this is, how eye-opening it is, and how inspiring, how incredible it was to be in that conference room with 500 other parents, and we're all the same. We're all Shining Light parents. It was phenomenal, and I'm still kind of on a high from that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm still on the high. It was 2-3 weeks ago. I can't even remember. But yes. Oh my God. And your story is just touching. It's so touching. And yes, it is so true. Everything, yes, it is. Our children are right there with us, helping us and guiding us, and it's our soul plans are working out perfectly. It's so wonderful. Thank you, Dawn.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
of Dawn? I was wondering.
Of course.
You were saying that you went to 2 meetings that were not very happy. I hope they weren't Helping Parents Heal meetings. I guess
No,
I wanted
they were
to
not. They were
okay.
Suggested by my EMDR therapist. It was the Elizabeth Hospice Support Group for Bereaved Parents. But the difference,
well, I just was
Yeah.
trying to determine if those were the meetings that were sad, and then you had Suzanne Giesman, or if it was just that.
No, it was
a different type of
for bereaved parents run through the Elizabeth Hospice, and it's supposed to be the most progressive group for bereaved parents. But it was basically everyone sharing their story every time, and people talking about how depressed they were, and that was it. It was like, okay, the end. We're all depressed now. Now we're going home.
Yeah.
There was no message of hope in terms of they're still here. They're still with us, and we can connect with them. There was none of that.
Yes,
I think that's one of the running themes with Helping Parents Heal.
Yes.
Is I think a lot of people that are affiliates or in this path, their path of life after life with their child, is they have experienced other groups that didn't provide the hope that they needed at that time. I was the same way, and my wife was like, why don't we just do something ourselves? So we did. We started something. And then Nicole Riley mentioned Helping Parents Heal. And that's how I got it. So I think that what Dawn is saying resonates, as well as what Elizabeth is saying. I mean, the organization is based off its hope. I mean, when we did our first pre-Helping Parents Heal, that was the focus, was that, okay, we're going to talk, what's one good thing that you remember about your child? And when I came up with that question, I was thinking, that's not what I experienced in the last groups that I had participated in. And the focal point of hope, that there is no death, that this is life after life, is the beauty of Helping Parents Heal. And I mean, I'm thankful for Elizabeth for responding back to this email from this guy from Louisiana.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, Elizabeth, I did hear that. And when Dawn was sharing her story, I heard that she was saying before she found Helping Parents Heal, she experienced those 2 meetings that left her sadder than when she went in. And I know that you had a similar experience, Elizabeth. That's what inspired you to co-found Helping Parents Heal. But I just want, yes. And like I said, I first didn't even really engage with this group because I thought, bereaved? Nah, that's not me. But go ahead.
Well, I think that all of us have had experiences with other groups, and I think that all groups serve a purpose. And maybe some of the other groups are better for the very newly bereaved, because it's hard for them to even conceive of how it would be possible and experience hope and to be joyful again. But at the same time, for me, I was on a path that I needed to know that we were going to survive. I needed to know that our kids are a part of this journey, because I felt Morgan immediately. And I needed to be able to know that the connection that we feel was going to be a huge part of every meeting. And so, as opposed to those other bereavement groups, I think that what we do differently, and we've already kind of expressed this, is that instead of talking about the moment that they passed over and over again, we talk about the signs and validations that we're getting from them every meeting. So we talk about the fun, uplifting things that are happening, as well as what Jason said, the memories that we have of them and the funny things that they did in life, so that everybody leaves the meeting excited that they got to say something fun about their kids, not that last moment in their life that doesn't define their lives at all. They don't want to be remembered that way. They want to be remembered from all of the other wonderful things that happened. So, and then all the things that are happening now, because boy, oh boy, when we open our eyes, we see that they are probably 99% for everything that we're doing right now. They're the ones who are pushing us and who are helping us to move forward and do this with the help of all the other kids over there. They're all really busy doing this.
Yes. That is so true what you said. I've only been to one. Tracy, I'm gonna try to catch an online meeting. I promise. I've only been to one Helping Parents Heal meeting, and that was at Sherry Pearl in New York in mid-December, just before the holidays. And I'm going again in June. She's having another meeting in June. But that was such a wonderful meeting. All the parents, we all shared, validations. We all shared stories of how we're still interacting with our children right here, right now. That interaction hasn't gone. And everyone there was a room full, I would say at least 15 people. And we were all sharing wonderful stories of how we are still interacting right here and now with our children. And everybody left feeling great. So I was like, that's when I decided, okay, I have to do this in the Poconos.
Well, I think that the important thing to realize too is that we do have people who tear up and sometimes who cry, but a lot of times those tears are tears of joy instead of tears of sadness. And that's the main thing. I realize that when I do cry now, sorry, that's my cuckoo clock. It's because of the fact that I'm so excited and happy about one of the signs that I hear coming through.
I think that's Morgan. I don't think it's your cuckoo clock. I think it's Morgan. He's like, I want to put my 2 cents in.
I also wanted to say, to me, one of the best things about Helping Parents Heal is they provide resources. And I think that's huge. It's not only with mediums, it's with healers, it's with grief specialists. If you go to the website, there's a list of providers. Our online group, we're a little bit different. We're in everybody, obviously, if they have an in-person group or not, we hold Zoom meetings online, so anybody can join. But what we do is we do 2 meetings per month, and we try and provide resources, authors, mediums, healers, anything that, you can go back and you can watch the videos and it can help you. Because me personally, when I went to a group, it was a bereavement group, and same thing, it was the same story over and over, but with no resources to help me move forward. And I didn't want to stay stuck. So that's the big thing that I love, is not only the support of all the parents and the children, but is having all these light workers that we can use to help us move forward.
Caroline, we also, I'm sorry.
The resources that they provide are so amazing because they can be used for meetings for other parents who are affiliate leaders. So it's very easy to take those and use them. And I just want to say, Tracy, you're so funny because you always say it's 2 meetings a month, but they do so much more than 2 meetings a month. I would say there's probably 6 meetings a month from what I can count, at least. So I don't think there's a week that goes by that there isn't at least 1 meeting. And all of those are on their website, which is fabulous for anyone who's starting up an affiliate and who might not have a guest speaker and who can actually use these in those meetings. So it's a wonderful resource, Tracy, and Brian and Ty and Beth as well.
Like Brian has done a book club where we have, we read a book and then we discuss it. We've done just impromptu meetings where, parents can just talk and meet each other. But you're right, Elizabeth, we feel like you can never have enough resources. And as Brian would say to me, reinforcement, because that's what helps me. So yes. I think it helps a lot of people as well.
We also have 2 things. I'm sorry. We also have 2 other resources on the website, is the Caring Listeners. And we also have helping siblings, where it's specifically for brothers and sisters to connect with each other. Caring Listeners. I'm sorry I cut in, Irene, if you wanted to.
No, I just wanted to say, and yes, thank you again to the online group, but Tracy, talking about resources, because for me, trauma was a part of my journey with Carly's illness. And I think trauma is very overlooked in grief. And for myself, I wasn't able to heal until I dealt with the trauma. And they've had some great speakers that have talked about that. I mean, I think David Kessler was just amazing how he talked about grief. And it isn't just about mediums. My sister is a trauma therapist and works with EMDR, eye movement desensitizing and reprocessing, which helps a lot of parents in grief. So we've had a lot of comments from people saying, well, I believe and I know my child is okay, but I can't help doing that moment over and over again. And a lot of people have gotten help through the resources that we've provided, and it's made a big difference for them.
Yes, so true. And I love what Elizabeth said about the crying too, because there's nothing wrong with crying. I'm a big believer that we have to feel. You have to feel what you feel. And if you feel like crying, because I just did it yesterday morning, I had a really good cry yesterday morning, and I felt wonderful afterwards. It's like, okay, I needed that. It was a cleansing. It was a soul cleansing cry. And that's I don't want people to think, okay, they're so happy. Oh, if I cry, there's something wrong with me. No, it's you have to do whatever you feel like doing. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like screaming, scream. Let it out. Don't hold it in. Let it out. And it's refreshing and cleansing. Yes.
You know, I had one of the first counselors or whatever that I had gone to. He said something that's really stuck with me, and I've said this to a few people about crying, and he's like, you know, I honor your tears because it shows me that you've loved and you've lost or whatever. So he's like, you should always honor your tears. So that's really stuck in my mind, and I've said that to several people since then. So I don't care when I just, when I talk about Shana, sometimes the emotions will come and I will cry, and I just get out my tissue and dab and continue with my story, because I'm like, you know, I love her. And so sometimes it brings up the tears, and I'm like, sometimes my eyes leak. So sorry.
But you know, actually in the early stages of grief, a lot of times people aren't able to cry too. That's true. I think that, you know, that's something that always is evident at meetings when you have newer parents. And I think that the day that they do start letting it out and talking about their kids and being able to cry, even if it isn't happy tears in the very beginning, but being able to just talk about how much they love their child. And it's a very healing and cathartic kind of experience. So definitely tears are a huge part of the healing part of our journey. But as I say, I think that for the most part in our meetings, as we move forward, yes, it's wonderful because we do have more happy tears than sad tears, but any tears are yes, wonderful. So
yes. And I always like to let people know of one of my messages is wherever you're at in your journey, it's exactly where you're supposed to be, because it's all about just taking each now moment and growing from there. You know, just okay. So it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Wow, this is so. I always say I don't need to do drugs because just doing this show is my high. I get a high doing the show and just sharing. But I found out that I need to now find out the list of the board members, because I know now I sound like I have to have some of the board members on the show. One that I heard mentioned a couple of times. I forget the name. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry.
Ernie Jackson. Ernie needs to be on here with his wife, Christine. They're both amazing, and okay, they're probably some of the most healing people that you could ever be around. But as Jason said, they were a huge part of his journey. I know that for Brian and Ty as well, because of the fact that they met them immediately when they came to Phoenix. And it was wonderful for me to be able to meet them. But I think that what really convinced them was meeting Ernie and Christine, right? Because they're just such wonderful people. And I do believe that they're a huge and integral part of helping parents heal. They don't have possibility to start an affiliate because they go back and forth between Colorado and the Phoenix area, but one of these days, hopefully they will.
And we also
Tracy, I was going to say, Tracy, you mentioned a
Dr.
board
Dr. Mark Pitstick.
He
is
Mark Pitstick,
he is not a bereaved parent or Shining Light parent, but he donates so much of his time. To me, he's sort of a very expert on the clinical side of more than the emotional side, I think I would say. He wrote a wonderful book called Soul Proof. I've read that several times and I recommend, that. It's a wonderful book. And I will say Ernie's always the shining light. He recently just made a mention of something to me that it's just the way his words, they just make you feel so good. He's one of those parents that can, we've started having male caring listeners.
Okay.
He's a caring listener. Brian's a caring listener. Ty, she's a caring listener. I'm a caring listener. They're on the website. Okay. And the caring listeners are basically parents who will donate their time to help, mostly just listen and encourage. Yes. So I encourage everyone, if they're having a hard day, people can reach out, sometimes in the middle of the night. We have people from all over the world and I'll get a text, I can't sleep, and they just like to know that someone's there to answer them.
That's perfect. That's wonderful.
And that they understand.
Yes. That's a wonderful research source. I had just heard about caring listeners at the conference when we were in the affiliate leader meeting. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's a wonderful resource. And also, I have to send this recording to Suzanne Giesman. Suzanne has been my guest 3 times, and we've all been touched by her. So I just like, Suzanne, just to know that your work is totally touching everybody is amazing. This is so.
Suzanne will always say, when I always thank her, and she'll say, it's the ripple effect. It's the ripple effect of hope. Spread the word. And I think that's what all of us are doing, is we're spreading the hope. We're spreading the ripple effect. And, I think most of us attribute it to her, but there's many other that help us through as well.
This is true. Elizabeth, can you share with our listeners exactly how they can find you, the different websites, where everybody that is listening to the show, they want to learn more, where can they go? You're on mute.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
Okay.
First of all, we have a wonderful website that's actually taken care of by Jason Durham. So that website is www.helpingparentsheal.org. That website has all of our different affiliate groups, as well as the caring listeners, as well as our recommended providers, as well as information about the group itself. And it has a tribute page for all of the kids who have been entered. So we celebrate them on their birthdays and on their angel dates. And you can also sign up for the newsletter on that page, and all of the newsletters are archived on the page. So there's a newsletter tab there. We also have our Facebook groups, and we have several Facebook groups. We have one now for the Poconos. We have one for the online group, which is our biggest affiliate group, because they hold these meetings and they are able to have people come from all over the world to attend those online meetings, which is wonderful. And they have lots and lots of resources for all of the other groups on there. We have the main Facebook page, which is where I post the angel dates and the birthdays of all of the children. And then there's a little bit of conversation on there as well. Most of the conversation has moved over to the online group because they have a lot of activities going on, and it's not all about the birthdays and angel dates there. I keep all of the events posted on the main page. They have all of their specific online group meetings on their online page. But then there's also, there's affiliate groups throughout the country that have their own specific Facebook pages. Jason's wonderful about creating the banners for each of those affiliate groups. And on the website, we also have a page for the caring listeners. So you can go on there and find out their phone number, their email address, so that you can get in touch with them directly. One of the things now that's going to be a resource as we move forward is that at the bottom of every page on the website, we're going to have upcoming information about our conference in 2020 that Irene is diligently planning with Jason and myself, and that's very exciting as well. So everyone should be checking back to see what's happening with that. And I'm trying to think of the other resources that we need to talk about. Can anyone else think of things that...
I was going to ask Tracy to share the website for the online group, because there's
we're Helping Parents Heal online group, and then the main page is Helping Parents Heal. So it's Helping Parents Heal and Helping Parents Heal online group. Elizabeth, I think it would help a little bit, because I can about the Helping Siblings Heal.
Yes, the Helping Siblings Heal is run by Anna Buckmaster, who's in London, and it's the same kind of Facebook group. It actually has a link on our website as well, but it's only for siblings. And they did it so that I'm not a member, none of the parents are members, because siblings talk about things that are different than what we talk about. And sometimes they probably like to say, oh my gosh, my parents are crazy. We need to figure out a way to deal with these people. And so it's nice for them to have a safe place for them to talk between them. So that is a Facebook page that can be joined. And as I say, Anna Buckmaster is the one who's running that. So hopefully siblings can do that as well. Thanks, Tracy.
That's good to know, because I can share that with my daughter. She's my oldest, so she was older than Kyle, but I can share that with my daughter. Great. And she would love to go on there and say, my mom is really crazy. That would be my daughter. Yes. Oh my goodness. This I can't believe the time has flown. And I'm serious. I had such a wonderful time at the convention. I had a conference and meeting everybody in person. I can't wait. I hope I don't have to wait till 2020 to see you guys. Oh, I won't, because I'll be in Phoenix again, Afterlife Symposium, September. So good. I won't have to wait that long to see you guys, because I hope you all are there. Oh my goodness. I would like everybody.
Can I say?
Yes, I was going to invite everybody.
There's another.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I was going to invite everybody to share their final words before we sign off. But you go first, Elizabeth.
Just very quickly, I forgot to say that at the conference, we had a wonderful gentleman who was, he recorded all of the keynote addresses, which are kind of wonderful to be able to use for your own, for affiliate groups as well. It's streamingforthesoul.com. So if people are still interested in purchasing that, if you were at the conference, it's $29 to be able to get all of those 4 keynote addresses. And those are a nice resource as well. And I'm sorry I broke in, but I'll mute myself.
That's okay. It's fine. No, I'd like everybody to share their final thoughts. Let's. Elizabeth, are you complete? Like, we do that at meetings. You are. You're complete. Okay. Irene, I'd like you to share some final thoughts.
Yeah, I think, for everyone that's out there that's listening, to just know that you're not alone. That there are other people that have gone through it, that have walked down this road, and you can reach out to so many people. I have made the best friends that I never realized I could meet such wonderful people and know that I can call on any of them any time of the day or night. And that's what I really wanted people at the conference to feel. And the comments we're getting are fabulous. One couple, and I've been speaking to a lot of the moms, we have so many new groups that are starting up. And one of the moms said, I came home and my friends were like, wow, what happened to you? And they kept questioning her. And somebody said, like, did you join a cult? And no, we're not a cult. We're just, we're just a group of people that know that our children aren't walking this earth any longer, but they're still alive. And it's learning to have a new relationship with our kids. And it's one that just doesn't involve their physical body, but they're still here. My whole belief system changed when Carly transitioned. I love what Suzanne Giesemann says, a belief system, it's BS. I was raised Catholic as well, and I thought death was the end, and it's not, and yeah, I miss her. I miss her yelling at me. I miss talking on the phone with her. I miss so many things, but she's here. A quick story, when I was leaving for the conference and I was packing and I was, picking out outfits and getting things together, and I went to get a pocketbook to take because I didn't want to take the one that I was using, and I have this bin, and I reached in and I got it. There was a penny in the pocketbook and the bottom of this bin. And I said, oh, that's cool. And then my sister always says, no, it's not just a penny. Look at the year. And there was this penny that was 1988, the year Carly was born. I mean, how cool is that? So I just said, thank you. I know you're here and I know you're going to be there. And it's just changed my life. Helping Parents Heal truly has changed my life. And I just want to be able to let other people experience that as well. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's so true. We all have a symbol. Now, I have a very unique symbol that I know is Kyle. And I had to run errands quickly earlier today, and that symbol was staring me in the face 3 times. It is an Envoy, I want to say Envoy G, a black Envoy GMC car. Because Kyle purchased one of those 3 months before he went into the hospital. So he loved that car, and he only got to drive it a few times. And in my last reading with Colleen, who is a student of Suzanne, Kyle told me he's driving that car now. And that car, that same color, same make, not same year, it was newer. He had an older one. These were newer ones. That I parked by one earlier today. I was going to the bank, one was passing me. And every time I see those cars, it's like, Kyle, I know you're with me. And 3 times today, those cars passed me. So I'm like, okay, Kyle, I know you're with me. So we all have those symbols. Like for Suzanne Giesemann, it's the yellow butterfly. So yeah, that is amazing. Tracy, can you share your final thoughts with us?
I think my final thought is I never thought I could make this road. And my one daughter said to me early on, Eamon's transitioned. It's been just a little bit over 2 years. And my daughter said to me, when I lost my brother, I lost my mother too. And that really sparked something in me. Then I also decided at that time, I needed to find resources to make me better so I could be better for everyone else. And I also decided that I couldn't define my son by his going home. I needed to define Eamon by his life and everything he gave. And my life is now to honor Eamon by helping others. And look at these Shining Light Parents on here. If we can do it, I want to say everyone can do it, because so many times people will post, I can't do this anymore. Take it moment by moment. Reach out for support. Like Irene said, now my best friends are bereaved. Well, Shining Light Parents, sorry, I have to change my vocabulary. And find your support system. And the other thing is, this is a hard one. Find your why. My why is honoring Eamon by trying to help parents and spreading love. That's my why. And I know that's a hard thing to do, is find your why, but you can find your why. And whatever you do to help is going to honor your child, honor yourself, and help the world altogether.
So true. So beautiful. So true. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tracy. And Jason, yes, please share your final thoughts with us.
Well, one thing I have to say, I think I've got 2021 for New Orleans for the next conference. I've already put in for New Orleans.
I said
The Big
22.
Easy. The Big
22
Easy.
Poconos, 22.
There's a lot to do in New Orleans.
I like even numbers. So 22
Okay.
Poconos. Okay.
You know, I kind of, having served people before Bailey's transition, you know, I remember speaking with a counselor with like, okay, this is Jason before, and this is while Bailey was still physically here. This is Jason before Bailey. What is Jason going to be like after? And I never really thought about that because I never focused on that. But every day of Bailey's life, I expected her to not make it that day. So when you live 20 years, 21 years like that, my whole life was service. It was either service to her or service of helping other people. And I knew that I had to continue serving people. And just as my daughter provided ample opportunities when she was here, she continues to provide ample opportunities. And I think that's one of the things that's given me the ability to take each day step, you know, each day at a time, and each step just focusing on that next step. And, you know, through Helping Parents Heal, I found the opportunities to serve other people, and to continue to honor my daughter's name. And I think that's kind of like all of our calling as parents that have had children that have transitioned is how do we continue to honor our children by continuing to tell their story of who they were when they were here, acknowledge and recognize when they're still here with us. And I think Helping Parents Heal, I'm a big believer in synchronicity and that there are no accidents. And I have no doubt that when my daughter woke me up, and then I communicated with Elizabeth and I communicated with Ernie and Mark Pitstick, that the synchronicities and that path was already there. So I'm very fortunate to have been able to work with Helping Parents Heal. And I highly recommend anybody going to the online group. You can be as anonymous as you need to be. You can speak your heart, speak your mind, where you're at. We've all experienced some point of the path that you're on. Everybody's path is different, but we're part of this club no one wants to be with, but just be encouraged to know that our kids are still right here. We're here with you. We want to love on you and we want to serve you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. And you know what, Jason? I want to go to New Orleans, so I have no problem with it being in New Orleans for 20. I've never been. Oh, I want to go to New Orleans just to eat, go to the conference and eat. Okay. So.
There's a lot. If it moves or swims, we fry it and cook it.
Well, I will be there. I will be there with bells on, so I have no problem. Oh my goodness, you guys are just you keep my heart is full. Christine, can you come in and share your final thoughts with us, please?
You know, I just wanted to mention and thank everybody on this group here today, because I just wanted to share what I've learned so much from Helping Parents Heal, is that we can learn to live with this pain and this deep sadness and trauma that we've gone through, and we can learn to heal, and life can be wonderful again. And you've all shared your experiences and really inspired me, and you know, and I'm finding joy again, and it's amazing, and I never thought that would happen. And I know my son is guiding me, and all of our kids are guiding us, and if we can follow that guidance, you know, we have these amazing moments of collateral beauty in our life. And I just want you to know that I appreciate, you know, what you've all shared, and been such an inspiration for me. And thanks for including me today. And I'm honored to be part of this group. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're my new buddy. Love you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Brian, can you come in and share your final thoughts with us?
Sure. Just real quick, I think for me, joining Helping Parents Heal, it's like joining a family. I mean, we have people, most of us believe in soul planning and soul groups. Soul planning means that we believe that we plan our lives out. Soul groups means they're people that we go through this again and again with. And the people that I've met in this group are just as close to me as a family that I was born into, that I'm bound to by blood. So I just want to say that it's a really great organization to be a part of.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ty.
Yes, I would, my final words would be just, if if you're on this journey, just don't journey it alone. I mean, this is a group that we welcome each and every person, and just come into our space, our place, and let's all just continue to heal together.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Caroline, for providing this platform today for us to help spread the word too. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Like I said, it is just like Tracy was saying, finding your why. And
yes.
six months after Kyle transitioned, this became my why, you know, and it's just, and it's brought me nothing but joy. And meeting, like I said, every guest I have is become a family member to me now. And so Helping Parents Heal is just adding, exponentially to my family in this, because honestly, this is my family. I didn't come from a big family. I was in the hospital with Kyle twice, 2 different occasions, weeks on weeks by myself. It was just me. So I didn't really have an outside network of family and friends. But now that I've started the show, this is now my family. And it's just, my heart is full. Okay, now, last but not least, Dawn. Please share your final thoughts.
There are 2 things I'd really like to see happen. The first is, I think that we need to spread the word of Helping Parents Heal. You know, don't journey alone. We need to somehow get the word out to more people, and I'm talking globally, to get this word out. These are the messages of hope. So first, spread the word of Helping Parents Heal. And second, I think we need a major, you can call it a cultural shift, you can call it a paradigm shift, whatever you want to call it, but the mental health field, I think, needs a change in the foundation of how they go about helping parents heal. Those who have not experienced the loss of a child themselves, I mean, I've been to EMDR therapy, that's very helpful, but I still think that we can do a lot more work in helping educate mental health professionals that losing a child is not equivalent to losing a sibling or a spouse or a parent. It's a completely different category. And I think that there's a lot more work to be done there.
Very true, very true. And like one of the name for this show, Awake to Oneness, came to me, everything came to me by spirit. And to me, it's an awakening. That's the word I like. And it's a global awakening. Awakening to the fact that our loved ones, our children, are not gone. Awakening to who we truly are. And awakening to our purpose, to our why, to why we're here. So it's that awakening, because from my perspective, it is internal. It's inside of us, and we need to be inspired to go within it and bring it out, because we go in and bring it out and share it with the world. That's the whole mission.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been so amazing. I don't even want to go. But I just love all of you. I am so glad I got to meet you all a few weeks ago in person. And I'll bring my step ladder next time so I can actually hug. I'm teasing Elizabeth. So I can hug Elizabeth. Like you said, on these Zoom calls, everybody's sitting down. Everybody's the same height. Elizabeth, at least a foot, I think, more taller than I am, which is great. Like, well, and she wears heels. Okay. But I will get to see most of you, I hope, or if not all of you, in September. So I hope to see all of you in September. Great. Awesome. 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 Thank you so much. I love you all. Everybody unmute.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you
unmute
so
and
much.
say
This
bye.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Caroline.
Caroline. Thanks, everybody.
Oh.